Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, Week 3, Sunday, live. Updated rankings, DraftKings picks, injuries, and some of our favorite bets of the week. Joining me in studio, like he does every single Sunday, on the news desk, or at least the news part of the desk, because I'm at the same desk. But no news for me, only fake news for me. You'll be monitoring the injury status?
I will, which is relatively easy at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
Not going to lie.
So inactives are going to be released at 11:30, well after we're off air. But the sweat on the DK YouTube channel and DK Facebook page, that's DraftKings if you don't know what DK is. It's not DK Metcalf's like homepage on YouTube.
Could be.
That starts at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, so go check that out. They'll have all of that spin. We'll be doing viewer questions from 10:30 to 11. And this will be up on the audio feed on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever else at 10:35 a.m. Eastern time. If you miss out on the first part of the show, want to hit the gym, probably not going to be hitting the gym, probably just pounding some more coffee into yourselves on a Sunday morning, but you can just listen to it that way too if you really want to. Here's what we're dealing with right now. Game time decisions that we're looking at. It looks like LaShawn McCoy is going to play. It looks like Mark Andrews is going to play, but he's 50-50. T.Y. Hilton and Marlon Mack are like legit game time decisions. Now it does look like Rashard Penny is not going to play, and Alshon Jeffrey is not going to play. Is that are those the big ones? And James White is now out.
Yeah, James White apparently is not going to play in this game.
So up with Sex Rex.
There you go.
Smash the like button for this video if you want to get into a draw for 20 DK bucks. Leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section, not the live chat, the comment section, and tell me your favorite single smash play of the main slate for Week 3. I think that's everything. Got a live show on Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, on the same channels that you're watching it on right now, with my main man, Steve Buchanan. So I think we should probably get into this. Let's introduce the third member of the team for the Sunday show. He's ready to ban people from the chat. It is Tim Undergust.
Tim Andergust.
That is not my name.
Are you ready for... I have worked out a thing for your bans. I'm giving you 6 bans for the show. But he lost 2 from last week.
Okay.
So you're already down to 4 bans for this week. And you can lose them periodically throughout the show.
I like this.
Okay.
So be on your best behavior, all right?
I can't promise that.
So you mentioned something on the Twitter machine this morning that I think is... Well, I don't think it's like super relevant, but... The over-under in the Kansas City-Baltimore game opened at 55. It's now down to 51. It's been like just by the second going down and down and down. It's down 4 points. It's a lot of points. It's rainy. It's windy. Everything's going on there. The only thing that I will say about this, if you play in kicker leagues, you probably don't use the kickers in that game.
Yeah.
With just swirling very, very high winds. But like if you're thinking about benching like Patrick Mahomes or something like that, just play those guys. Like don't who are you benching Patrick Mahomes for? Honestly. Tim, you own Patrick Mahomes. You benched him all last year. Bad idea.
Well, that was because he was a red shirt in the keeper league. So you have to sort of, anyway, explain that. No, there's no circumstance under which you're going to bench any of your Chiefs stars or Ravens stars. Sorry, there's just none. If you do, you're a fool. You should stop playing fantasy. You don't know what you're doing.
So Lamar, Mahomes, play them both. Hollywood Brown, play him. Kelsey and Watkins, play him. Played them, sorry. Everyone else in that game, then you can start making some decisions.
McCoy is definitely McCoy for sure too. No doubt in my mind.
Okay, so let's get into the LaShawn McCoy thing. So McCoy's dealing with this ankle injury. His specific injury really worries me in the context of this game because he's already at a very high rate of re-injuring that ankle because it's not 100%. So we don't even know what his workload's going to be like anyway if he is active, and he hasn't even been declared active as of yet. Hey, there's James White. He's out this week. You got to take him out of your lineup. Yeah, you got to take him out of your lineup, Tim. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I don't have a backup. I'm doomed.
Go pick up Sex Rex.
I formally concede this week against whomever I'm playing.
Oh, God, I think I'm playing you. Fuck.
No, Eric.
Oh, good.
Oh, it's Eric.
So McCoy, we don't know what his workload is going to be like anyway. The Ravens' run defense is exceptionally good versus its pass defense, which is kind of banged up and not as great as people like to believe it is. So I'm not super in on McCoy. And I think the split between him and Darwin Thompson might be a lot closer than people think.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think it could definitely break down to 50-50. And also, unlike a lot of games with the Chiefs, there is a reasonable possibility that they get down a couple scores in this game. And that would definitely be a script that favors Thompson as opposed to LaShawn McCoy. Look, I think in season-long formats in any league bigger than 12 teams, you're probably just going to have to play McCoy out of necessity. I think the possibility and the upside is too great to ignore. But you're right. There's a risk for injury. There's a risk that he's scripted out of this game. There's a risk that Darwin's just better than he is.
Yeah, like maybe the ankle.
Would you bench him for Frank Gore?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I'd rather play Frank Gore.
I have Frank Gore as a backup in this league. I wonder if he's a better play than Burkhead.
Yeah, I have him ranked.
yeah.
So let's use those two guys, Rex Burkhead, and I assume that Damian Harris is going to be activated for this game. Yeah. So Brandon Bolden will definitely score 8 touchdowns in this game, or some guy because Devlin's also out in this game.
Yeah.
So like the Patriots.
Oh, different white up back?
Yeah, the Patriots might just walk into the crowd and like sign a Make-A-Wish Foundation kid, and he's going to have 8 touchdowns in this game against the crappy Jets.
Well, how gritty is the kid?
Well, we'll find out. A lot of grit. He's still kicking.
I guess that's true, yeah.
So I go in the 20s in my rankings. Like it goes Garion Johnson, then Frank Gore, Phillip Lindsay, LaShawn McCoy, Chris Thompson, Darwin Thompson, Devonta Freeman, Peyton Barber, Rex Burkhead, Tariq Cohen, Miles Sanders. That's the way that I would have them ranked for this week. Now, am I too high, too low on some of those guys, Gary? Because Freeman seems abnormally low based on the name, but he sucks.
Yeah, this is the week, though. If he can't get it done against the Colts, I mean, really just in terms of what his value should be to the Falcons. And sure, he's only played 55% of the team snaps so far this season, so it's not even really like he has a stranglehold in his backfield over Ito Smith. But
he's done for.
Oh, that's fair. And look, I think that if he does not produce this week, I am giving everyone permission who has not jumped off the bandwagon yet to jump off the bandwagon and never look back. But
he's a hurt.
The Colts are incredibly susceptible to running backs. Specifically in the passing game. And Darius Leonard's not playing in this contest, which I would think stands to reason to make that defense a whole lot worse. This is a good matchup.
Over under weeks before Judge Ito is the starter.
Well, there's a real good chance that it's next week if Freeman doesn't do anything today.
By the way, how great is it that his nickname is actually based on Lance Ito?
I think it ruins it a little bit.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. I think it's perfect.
It's like everyone's freaking out about Deebo Samuel, not realizing that he was 100% named because of the movie Friday.
He was, yeah.
That's ruins your clever little, oh man, I put these two things together. No, he was literally named after the movie. It's not clever.
Do you know what Ito Smith's real first name is?
They said it on the broadcast last week.
It's incredible. The fact that he goes by Ito is shocking. His real first name is Romarius, which is an awesome name.
A great name.
Romarius Smith sounds like he's an awesome running back.
That guy's an all-pro.
Ito Smith sounds like someone we joke about.
He really needs a PR guy.
Yeah. He needs at least to hire, Mayo Media Inc. Consulting. Like, you get out in front of it. Like, no one has benefited more from a good name in his career than Travis Outlaw has. He signed like a $70 million deal at some time. True. Like, and he's terrible. Romarius Smith. So, as it pertains to McCoy, I just worry based on the conditions with a wet field, that kind of thing, where he's already susceptible to be re-injured because of the ankle. You put him in slippery conditions, and that's not helping matters.
No.
And do we worry about Darryl?
Look, I'm avoiding McCoy completely in DFS.
Yeah, so am I.
I just think there are certain circumstances.
Would you play Darwin Thompson, though, at 3K?
Yeah.
Would you rather play Darwin Thompson at 3K or Rex Burkhead at 3,900?
I think the one issue
Or would you rather play Frank Gore at 43?
I'm avoiding Gore, I think, in most circumstances.
I'm not playing any of those three guys.
I can understand using Gore in cash. I get it. But Frank Gore chalk weeks justifiably terrify me. I've seen this script play out. Look, it's undeniable his role in this offense. I think he had out-touched Singletary 32-12, and the only reason Singletary got a goal line touch was because Frank Gore happened to be getting a concussion protocol at the time of that drive. But I think that people are very quick to say Frank Gore is now the lead back in this offense, when once again, as we've been saying for 3 weeks,
Josh Allen is
the lead back in the Bills offense. Don't quickly forget that. And there are scenarios this week where Frank Gore touches the ball, let's say specifically carries the ball 20 times, gains 75 yards, doesn't score a touchdown, and maybe catches 2 passes. That's 9.5 points. It's not going to get it done. I know that's 3x his value. Fantastic. It's not going to win you a tournament.
No, it was like using Peterson last week. Like, Peterson scored a touchdown and was still useless.
Yeah.
Which is
but
kind
he did score.
Yeah, but you didn't do it. Like,
Yeah, but if you're like in a 14-team league and you flexed him, that's perfectly fine. That's
Sure,
what you
but
were
we're talking specifically DFS.
Yeah, you
here.
were typing him up and using him on DraftKings. He scored 11.5 points on DraftKings. Not doing you any favors.
Yeah, he was super cheap though. You could have done a lot worse.
But I was going to say, the interesting thing about Thompson is there are scenarios where I would definitely get him in at that price point. I think it's a very fair price point.
If it wasn't this week.
I think much
that's
like
the
you,
whole thing.
I'm really looking to exploit the top end of the running back board because there's so much value elsewhere.
Yeah, so like if you need to pay down this week, like I still want to have the safety of my running backs. Like I don't think I used a running back cheaper than Chris Carson this week. And he's $5,900 because there are like 8 wide receivers in the 3K range that could all be in absolute just gigantic spots. Like Demir Bird at $3,000 is in a fantastic spot. Devin Smith at $3,400 is in a fantastic spot.
I'm tired of Devin Smith. I want nothing to do with him.
I am so in on Devin Smith.
I have him. I played 9 lineups this week.
There's a reason we cut him for a reason. He's not good.
But here, this is the thing, and this is something...
Oh, so you're just bitter because he sucked for the Jets?
He was bad in general. I'm glad they cut him. He's not going to do much anyway.
This is... I had this epiphany like during the third quarter of the Dolphins-Patriots game last week at the bar, which was you can't...
What am I doing?
Well, sure. That happens a lot. But I had a lot of Josh Gordon exposure. And it was like, oh, God, there's only one useful piece in this Dolphins defense, and it's Xavier Howard.
And he's going to be on Amari Cooper
And
this
he's
week.
going to be on Amari Cooper this week. And you've got the two other options, the two starting cornerbacks for the Dolphins are Eric Rowe.
And me.
Basically.
Pat Mayo.
Good. Good for Jamal Wiltz, who will forever be the guy getting burned in Antonio Brown's one Patriot highlight that everyone will go back to. He's given up an 86% reception rate through 2 games in the slot. Like, why? I'm not going to sit here and say that you're benching Amari Cooper because you're not. He's going to have a good game. But if you're Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper's got decent coverage and everyone else is wide open, you're going to throw to the wide open guys.
Would that lead you to Cobb at all?
A little. I think there, in certain builds, when I'm left with about $5,000, I don't mind Cobb.
I'd rather use...
I'd rather... Smith has much more upside.
Well, and he's only 30, and like it's a different build if you do it that way. Like the upside, like tournament winning upside for Devin Smith is way higher because he's just going to be running sprints down the field. But if you get stuck in that like $5,000 range, like everyone's going to Larry Fitzgerald there on DraftKings, you could go down to Emmanuel Sanders, who I think is better than Cobb. But I think Will Fuller is the play at $4,800 against the Chargers.
I'm playing Whitson from that Cowboys game.
You're playing Witten?
He's so
Antonio
cheap.
Brown.
He's cheap at a position where I don't have to spend this week because I want to spend it running back. They clearly do want to target him, particularly in the red zone. I think at $3,700, Whitson's probably the best tight end value on the board.
See, I don't think so. Not at all. I don't even think he's the best tight end at $3,700.
No, that'd be Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen sitting right there. I think.
I don't trust him.
And with his back, he's actually going to play this week. T.J. Hawkinson.
He was running like Forrest Gump last week.
T.J. Hawkinson's actually in a pretty decent spot against the Eagles. And if you just look, O.J. Howard is what, $3,800?
If you want to shoot for upside,
I used O.J. Howard because I used Jameis stacks. I left Godwin out of it, so I'm using Jameis, Evans, and O.J. Howard.
So I was going to say, I don't mind. I don't think I would use Howard on an island, but I don't mind using Mike Evans on an island this week. I just feel like he's had 2 very tough matchups to start the season.
But would you, in that area, would you rather use Mike Evans or Kenny Golladay? I'd rather use Kenny Golladay.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think Evans has a big week. Like, specifically the Bradbury matchup, he hasn't exceeded or excelled in that matchup the last 5 times it's happened. I think it's unfair to hold that against him when, he was just running into a pretty good cornerback. So I think this is a week that sets up a lot better for him.
So Tim, you just reserved your spot in our DraftKings room, which Garion won because he used the Patriots defense last week.
That was great.
Really helps out a lot.
Yeah.
So where's your early build going towards? Like, who's your quarterback?
Mahomes. It's a Kansas City build this week. It's cheap enough you can do it.
It's funny.
Few people will be doing it because people are scared off.
I was going to say, I love that build in a massive tournament. I don't know if I love it in a 10-man tournament.
Tim doesn't know the difference between them.
Yeah.
Well, the goal is for me, put together the best lineup I can and spend every dollar I've got. Those are the only 2. And always like Christian McCaffrey. There's no circumstance under which, if he's available, I'm not playing him.
That's pretty good advice.
That's, of all his advice, this tends to be the best
So McCaffrey and
pillar
Mahomes
of his sensibilities.
My 2 big spends makes me feel pretty good.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, the 3 receivers that you can really use, and like before you get into like the Preston Williams of the world, if you really want to. I don't
Who
think
might
you
have some value.
Sure, if they're going to be down by 500 points, so why not? But Bird at 3, Devin Smith at 3-4, and JJ Arcega-Whiteside at 3-6. Everyone's using Aguilar from that. Like he's also, I think he's 3,600.
Well,
Yeah, I
Aguilar
think
and James
Aguilar's-
Washington's
I think
also super
Aguilar's the play.
popular.
Yeah, Aguilar is projected to be the highest owned wide receiver on DraftKings right now. If you're playing in a Millionaire Maker or you're playing in a giant tournament, just fade him. If he
100%.
beats you, he beats you, but chances are he's not going to beat you.
I think he is. He's probably gonna have a pretty good game.
I don't think.
Yeah, but is his game going to be so good that he's the differentiator, or could you take someone at
Differentiator.
as 1/18th of the ownership who ends up performing better, and then you box out everyone else who used Aguilar?
Sure, but I don't know that I think that Arcia Whiteside has got that chance. Like I think he's a good player. I think Aguilar is decisively the number 1 receiver there. So I think you're sort of making the wish the author of the thought. So I'm not following.
I think it's about role though too.
Yeah,
It's,
and he's not the number. I mean, I guess technically he's the number 1 receiver. The number 1 passing option goes by the name of Zach Ertz. So you're not even targeting the number 1 guy in the offense.
Sure, like then just spend up for Ertz because he's better than. Like at that point, like I'm not worried about that. That's not where I'm.
That's not the conversation we're having. We're having a
I don't
conversation
think
about
that's
gut.
gonna be the million
Well,
dollar- I don't think that's going to be the player that wins you $1 million in the Million Maker, for example. Like that's just not where I would be going.
Who?
Whiteside,
Whiteside,
I think.
not the type of player.
Whiteside is sort of irrelevant to this conversation. It's Aguilar at his price point versus the other guys at his price point. You can pick which one that you like the best, but they're all going to come in with significantly less ownership, by like 75% less ownership.
And we've seen. I don't think that Aguilar has the same upside cap as someone like Jamison Crowder necessarily, but we've seen even the best type of that game. Like I don't think anyone's going to have a better, just real scummy PPR game this season than what we saw out of Crowder in week 1. And even with 14 catches, he still didn't get to 25 DraftKings points because there's no red zone targets. And there's just no depth to those targets either.
Question from the audience, sir.
My only takeaway here is Devin Smith, incredibly reverse cursed.
Yes.
Nelson Aguilar, incredibly under cursed. So just when you're building, think about that.
Yeah. That's a good summation, I would say.
Yes. So just use
What's
Devin
Josh
Smith.
Rosen this week? Josh Rosen might not be a bad cheat.
Oh
buy.
my God.
First game, he's got a lot to prove. The Dolphins will be throwing a lot with him.
We going 2 or 3 weeks with a Dolphin stack?
I'm not advocating that, but it's only 4,500. I don't hate it either.
Just use Kyle Allen.
Yeah, well, yeah, here's the thing. Like, you really have to pick and choose of where you want to spend up this week, because you could build an all value lineup and leave $5,000 on the table if you wanted to.
Can't
There's
do that.
so
Gotta
much
spend
value.
every dollar, Pat.
What's that? Yeah, according to me, you have to spend every
single dollar.
But I fell into this trap as well, just looking at my lineups, that most of my lineups feature Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler, and Chris Carson, because you can just pay down at receiver. Yes, Kyle Allen is probably the best value on the board at $4,000.
You'd have to think so, yeah.
So should I get to my props before we start talking about Kyle
please
Allen?
do.
So I released my props out on the Twitter machines if people want to check those out. If you're asking start-sit questions in the chat, we do those at 10:30. So if you leave them in now, I'm not going to see them because I'm going to do a call to action for questions. So stop wasting your time. Share the show around. That would be nice. We could always do that. But the Kyle Allen props are out of whack. I'm not saying that they're going to win, but they're just weirdly undervalued. So you can bet Kyle Allen, who in his one start in week 17 last year did have a rushing touchdown and ran 5 times. He's going to run like 4 to 8 times this week. You can bet him to be first touchdown, 50-1. You can bet him to be last touchdown, 50-1. You can bet him anytime touchdown, rushing touchdown that is, to be 12-1. Those are just criminally undervalued. Like he should be 20.
I don't think the 12-1 one is, but the
for any time
Anytime
touchdown, 12-1.
Yeah.
Good for a guy who's going to play every snap of the game.
12-1.
Yeah, there's probably like a 7 to 10% chance of that happening. That's about right. Maybe there's slight value there, but not a big one. But the first 2, I can certainly see it. Sure. I think the first and last touchdown, you should definitely, that there's a lot of value in that. The 12-1, I think that's about right. Maybe just slightly off.
It's pretty significant odds for a starting quarterback.
Yes.
Who is a mobile?
Who is a mobile? Yeah. Like I when I went into this and I just was glancing because I was looking to play a rushing prop for him, and there was none on the board. So I just glanced at the touchdowns because I assumed he was going to be 20-1 first touchdown, 20-1 last touchdown, like 4-1 anytime touchdown. And I saw these odds. I was like, let's go. 2 best ones on the board, I think, especially if we don't know if Rashad Penny is definitely out yet because the inactives will come out later. He's expected to not play, but Chris Carson over 16.5 carries in this game. Seems pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And
seems very likely.
And Devin Smith.
This is
the weirdest one I found. So his game total for yardage in the game is 28.5. His longest reception prop is 25.5. So just bet the 28.5 over. So Carson over 16.5 carries. Devin Smith over 28.5 yards.
Question for you: how many QB rushing TDs do you think there have been through 2+ weeks?
4.
Probably say like 7.
There have been 8, and Deshaun Watson and Josh Allen account for half of them. So, like I'm saying, rushing QBs or QB rushing TDs is just a very, very dangerous thing to be betting on.
Yeah, but that's because there's only a certain amount of quarterbacks that fill that archetype, and I think Kyle Allen is definitely a quarterback who could rush the ball for a touchdown.
2 people: Josh Allen, and Watson, and that's the list.
Like to
saying, like Russell Wilson couldn't rush in for a touchdown,
or Lamar Jackson couldn't rush in a touchdown.
Anymore. Did Russell Wilson even have one last year? Maybe he had one last season. Like, he doesn't rush for touchdowns.
Yeah, he only throws 40-yard bombs for touchdowns.
Listen, most people are trying to play props that are minus 150. Here is a prop that's either 50-1 or 12-1.
Look, and if you go into a 12-1 prop expecting to win that prop, that's probably the wrong way to go about it. But it's there's value. That's all you can really ask for.
So the parlay that I put together for props, I have these out on my Facebook page and my Twitter page right now. If you just want to actually see what the overall numbers are or reference back to it, the 4 that I put together as a part of the parlay pays 10-1. Ted Ginn under 3.5 receptions. I like that. Especially because we don't really know what's happening with the New Orleans quarterback situation.
I like that too. I like that quite a bit.
Just anytime you get Ginn outdoors, it's usually a good thing.
Yeah.
Devin Smith over 28.5 receiving yards.
Yeah.
Demir Bird over 35.5 receiving yards. And Will Fuller over 25.5 longest reception. So I played all those 4 props individually, and together they pay 10-1. I like those.
I like 3 of those 4.
That's good news. The other ones I played all 3 of those Kyle Allen props as singles. I played the Chris Carson over 16.5 rushing attempts as a single. And I played the Chargers and Texans over 5.5 total sacks in that game because their offensive line's not good.
Yeah, the Chargers could win that part of it for you all by themselves.
Yeah, I played the Titans-Jags over 5.5 sacks on Thursday night. The Jags had 9. Tennessee had none.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, too, it's not as if... I know they didn't allow a sack last week, and a lot of it is because Phillip Rivers just throws the ball within half a second of touching it. But the Chargers' offensive line is also not very good.
No, and the Texans get to the quarterback. And Deshaun Watson gets sacked like 4.5 times a game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's also very good, so...
Yeah,
that's pretty good. So those are the props that we're going with. Did you see anything that you liked?
Not especially. I just really like that Devin Smith one. I mean, when you told me this morning, it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, it seems off like the Kyle Allen one seems off.
Like, even if you think that his role is not going to be quite what Gallup's is, I think we're still looking at a guy who's going to play like 60% of the snaps and is definitely going to see some targets. And I truly believe in this. Again, not Xavier Howard necessarily a lockdown corner, but just only capable player in Miami's secondary. I think Smith's going to see at least 5 or 6 targets this game.
If Mark Andrews doesn't play, now he should play. They're calling him 50-50.
He played last week.
Yeah, he did, but now it seems like it's a little bit worse.
Sure.
And like he was iffy last week, and then goes out and has an absolute smash game. But let's say all of a sudden at 11:30 he's decided to be inactive. Who do you go pick up? Do you pick up Gerald Everett in that? Because I mean we haven't talked about this, but like no one is playing on the Browns defense.
Yeah.
No. But that game is going to be I don't see that game being a high-scoring game either. I see that being like a 13-10 game for the Rams. Like I think it's going to be close. I don't see both. The Rams historically do not score a ton of points on the road outdoors with this sort of configuration. We've seen them sort of slow down a bit.
I mean, they scored over 30 in Week 1 at Carolina.
Yeah, but you know what? That was sort of deceiving, right? If you watch the game, the Panthers held them up, and they gave them some short fields. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying. I picked the Rams in that game. I like the Rams in that game. I don't think it's going to be high scoring.
in that same way, I think there was two ways to watch that Week 1 contest. I walked away from that thinking the Rams could have scored 45 points and just settled for a lot of field goals. I like Everett a lot. I mean, they're running a lot more 12 than 11 this season. I think he's playing like 55% of the snaps. He's always been the guy they thought was the better receiving option between he and Higbee. Yeah, and I think we're going to talk a lot about the secondary, but the fact that Kirksey's not playing in this game either, like, realistically, that was probably one of the main defenders that was going to defend Everett in the passing game.
Like, would you pick up Olsen or would you pick up Everett? I think I'd
probably
play
Olsen at that point.
Tim?
Yeah, I agree.
Would you pick up Walt Disley or Gerald Everett?
Disley.
I'd go Disley as well.
Yeah, Disley.
But those guys might not be available. Would you play Vernon Davis or Gerald Everett?
I think there I'd play Everett.
I think I'd play Vernon Davis still.
I think I would play VD as well.
I just feel like they're running. I think Chris Thompson gets like 20 targets in that game.
Yeah, Tim, is it an AP week or not?
I believe it is not an AP week.
Okay. So play Chris Thompson is what you're saying.
Always play Chris Thompson.
Would you play Chris Thompson or Frank Gore?
I would
In
play
a
Frank
PPR,
Gore.
I'd play Chris Thompson.
I'd still play Frank Gore. Just because we don't believe in Frank Gore doesn't mean the opportunity is not going to be there.
That's fair. I just think Chris Thompson has shown himself he's going to get 8 to 12 targets until he's not healthy, and right now he's healthy.
I suppose so. If you had to only play one running back, just like regardless of price this week, would it be Elliott?
Yeah.
No, CMC.
Look, because there's the argument that this game gets out of hand and that maybe Zeke doesn't need to rack up the volume.
I don't like that argument, only because if it gets out of hand, he's definitely done something. Yeah, he scored like 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. I think the spot's too good to ignore.
Anything else like DraftKings wise you want to go to? Like, are you going to play Kyle Allen? Because I am.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you stack him? I stacked him with McCaffrey and DJ Moore.
I don't mind stacking him with Olsen. I think stacking him with McCaffrey is obviously very viable.
Sure.
McCaffrey is one of the few running backs you can stack a quarterback with. We've gone over this enough times. But yeah, you look at just the pace of those two teams. They're first and second in the league, and even in neutral play selection, they're sixth and second. So it's not as if these have been two teams that have been game scripted the first.
Should we
2
bet
weeks.
the over on this game, or do we worry that Cliff Kingsbury is like, I'm on the 1 yard line on second down, tricky, I'll kick a field goal?
There's
No,
again.
Cardinals are a very deliberate franchise inside the red zone. So yeah, I think overs are hard to bet with them right now.
Sure, but I also think that much like we stared at, Mike Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo early in last season, where they were averaging 5.5 red zone drives per game, but only scoring 20 points per game. At some point, you're just going to score a touchdown.
I just saw this tweet.
The Brown tweet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Did you see this, Tim?
No, what is it?
Antonio Brown says he plans on boycotting the NFL until player contracts are guaranteed.
Yeah, that's like OJ saying he's going to go out and find the real killer while he's on the golf course.
Still looking. He could be on any golf course, Tim. You don't know.
I
was going to say, though, that does remind me, Kyler Murray's passing yards prop is still a lot lower than it should be. It's in the mid 260s.
It's 264.5 this week.
Yeah,
he almost hit his over in the first half last week.
That's
Murray's going to be good. It's pretty clear.
What if you pronounce his name Moe like you had a lisp?
Or just said present.
Present.
That's a
I
show
just
people
repeated your
right?
joke back to you, and you laughed.
Cracking him up. He was
hysterically.
cracking himself up with Van
People know
Halen.
that
lyrics
show,
earlier.
right? That was on HBO. People know that show, right?
I don't think it being on HBO helps your case because it was on HBO. I guess HBO was still a pretty big thing back then. It was a lot
HBO is
harder to
big, but
get.
like HBO, generally speaking, is only big because of the big shows. Those are the ones that people watch.
Yeah.
Like people have watched Flight of the Conchords. It's not like a super ingrained in the pop culture type of show.
No. Should be.
Yeah, it's all right.
Who's the boom king?
It could be a part-time model.
It could be. Spreads. Back to that Chiefs-Ravens game. It's down to 5.5. The total is now, it looks like it's stuck at 51. So we talked about the studs that you start in that game. You start them all.
Yep.
You don't worry about that. And I don't think the LeSean McCoy is a stud in that game.
I would agree.
But what about the Hardmans, the Robinsons, the Miles Boykins of the world? Like those guys. Those would be the guys I'd be a bit pensive about.
My opinion is I don't care about the weather. I'm going to play the guys I was going to play.
But they're in a mix of guys that you could have all went and picked up.
Sure, but I won't let that be a determining factor for me. Like, if I like them, I was going to pick them up or not. Like, I'm not thinking with the weather at all. To me, that's extraneous.
I think you need to consider it a little bit. It's always wind. Wind is the only thing that we've seen time after time after time. If it gets above 20 miles per hour, it has a severe impact on the game.
Although Patrick Mahomes threw a ball 65 yards off his back foot last week against Oakland. If anyone can cut a ball through the wind.
He threw a ball out of this stadium during the during training camp. I wouldn't worry about it.
I don't think we're going to see a situation where anyone's like shadowing anyone. But Marlon Humphrey's been very good so far this year. I know they're missing Jimmy Smith, which is big. And I think that does make that secondary a little susceptible. But you could see a lot of Humphrey on Robinson. I don't know. I just don't feel like
Would you play Robinson or Hardman?
Robinson.
You'd probably have to play Robinson, but
Yeah.
I really do think it's a crapshoot. It almost comes back to playing like this is last year's Sammy Watkins, essentially. You're just crossing your fingers and hoping this is one of the 5 weeks he's going to go off. Because it's not going to happen every week.
Would you play Will Fuller or those guys? I'd play Will Fuller.
I'd play Fuller.
I would play Will Fuller, but I would have anyway.
But I think people fall into this trap of, Robinson had the big week last week. I just picked him up. Now I want to play him. Will Fuller's had like 2 games.
Yeah.
I'll play him. I would play Will Fuller as well.
I would too. I think the thing with Robinson, and we'll finally start to see people reap the rewards of this next week, is he's just a guy who's great during bye weeks. He's a guy who's great when there's 12 teams going that week. And if his upside is the option you get to fill in for a wide receiver, fantastic. But like I said, he's a best ball player. He's someone you don't know on any given week if he's going to go off or not.
So a lot of that depends on your team construct as well then. Like if you have the ability to roll the dice, like let's say you're a massive underdog in whatever your head-to-head contest is, and someone like even Hardman or Robinson is out there, and you can play them like, well, their upside is like 30 points. Their downside is 0 points, but I'm a 25-point underdog in the matchup that I'm in. You might have to roll the dice on the upside of that anyway.
Yeah.
Where if it's a closer game, maybe you want to take the stable 13 points or
Sure.
something like that.
Maybe you're someone who got Austin Eckler in the 6th round and you're just stacked at running back and you can take a shot because you can sustain a 0 in your lineup.
Yeah.
There are ways to go about this.
So I think it's all like circumstantial. The 5.5, it's down from 6.5. Tim, you still like the Chiefs in this game? Because I do.
Yeah, I mean, that 5.5 to 6.5 is sort of cosmetic anyway in terms of the number. Yeah, it goes through 6.
You know what? I would prefer to bet it at 5.5 than 6.5.
Sure.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Sure, I would, but it's not as massive a deal if it went from 7.5 to 6.5, for example. Like, yeah, it's important, but it's not that important. And I love the Chiefs in the game to start with. I still like the Chiefs in the game. I think this line actually no longer makes any sense. Like the Chiefs should be laying a full 7 against anybody at home.
You just said it was a cosmetic difference, but now it went from making sense to making
well,
no
if it
sense.
was a 6.5, it was only off by a half point. Like they should be laying a full 7 into anyone at home except for maybe the Patriots,
Look,
and then they should be laying 3 or 4.
I'm just poking holes. I also like the Chiefs a lot in this game. I don't want to take away anything the Ravens have done, but
the only concern would be, listen, last week the Chiefs got shut out in 3 of the 4 quarters they played. That was not a very optimistic, particularly a whole second half. That was somewhat discomforting if you're hoping that the Chiefs, because I mean, the Raiders don't have a great defense, and they shut them out in the second quarter in a game that was never out of hand. Like the Raiders had chances to get back in the game. So that if you're going to play devil's advocate, that would be the point. That the Ravens are not. If the Chiefs are having trouble scoring, the Ravens are not going to have the same trouble.
That's fine, but if you're going to really start nitpicking the schedule through 2 weeks, I mean, who have the Ravens beaten? Really, they looked fantastic against Miami. Congrats.
And
they almost lost to Arizona at home. That's not a great look. They're a good team. I still think the Ravens, probably make the playoffs in the AFC. And
Probably.
They could definitely.
They're by far the heavy favorite to win the AFC North now, with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati done and Cleveland clearly sort of in shambles.
Sure. But I still think I'd need for them to have beaten a quality opponent before I'm starting to think about betting against the Chiefs at home.
Well, we gave out
in September. I think Andy Reid's like 9-0 against the spread in his last 9 September games.
Let's
He's
go.
just very good, as far away from the playoffs as he can be. Great coach.
I did play a money line parlay this week as we did the pick show, which everyone should tune into every Wednesday morning with Tim and Jeff. Comes out at 6 a.m. It's ready for you. 2 hours to kill during the day. There you go. Have a few laughs. But he said 3 teams legitimately had no chance to win this week. Do you know who those 3 teams were? Because I put them on a money line. And not the Jets or Dolphins. Like games that realistically the other team could win.
Sorry, this is things Tim said or Jeff said?
Tim said that these 3 teams could not win.
Okay, so definitely the Browns.
No, the Browns were not winning. Baltimore was one of them. He said Baltimore had no chance to beat Kansas City. Despite what he's now saying.
No, I was just playing devil's advocate.
He said the Broncos have no chance to beat the Packers.
I was looking at that game.
And the Steelers have no chance to beat the 49ers.
Ooh.
I really like the Steelers in that game.
Oh, yeah. Mason Rudolph, who's never started a game in his career, going to the Bay, where a team that hasn't played a home game yet, they're a home opener. The Niners look like world beat.
Like San Francisco has some sort of massive home field advantage. This isn't 1989.
No, but the Steelers are going to travel across the country with a backup QB who's never started a game for a home opener. And the Niners look like...
I like San Francisco in this game, but I'm not going to go out and say that San Francisco is free money.
No, I think the Steelers knock them out, and then their season is pretty much done.
I think there's a lot of people who are going to put San Francisco money line on like a 3 or 4 team parlay.
I'd stay away from it.
It's a dangerous game. It's basically hunting man.
It's on my pro line, I'll tell you that.
Why are you still fucking playing pro lines? What's wrong with you?
Because he's sponsored by Proline.
Why do you keep bringing up competitors for one thing, and you played the worst version of it? Honestly, Proline is for people that play like the ripoff, like scratch tickets at the corner store. Like it's horrible. It's the worst investment you can make with your money if you're going to put it in to any sort of sports betting. It makes no sense. But congratulations on that. So Baltimore, Denver, Pittsburgh money line pays 43 to 1. Just the anti-cussed can't win teaser.
That's not bad.
His actual parlay, his teaser for the week, his 6-point teaser. He's got Kansas City minus a half point, Buffalo pick'em, Green Bay minus 1.5, Minnesota minus 2, and the Niners minus half a point. Looks good on paper.
It always does. It always does.
Well, he's teased against the Chiefs the first 2 weeks, and they broke his teaser. So now he's with them. So obviously, Baltimore is going to win.
Yeah.
Plus, the Chiefs
I still like the Chiefs, but that terrifies me.
The Chiefs have that really cool field design for this week. That'll be an awesome game to watch. Like they designed it like the 1960s.
Oh, I was gonna say what in Tim's mind could possibly justify as cool? It's like, oh, definitely, if they embrace their old timiness.
Yes. Let's talk about this Rams-Browns game, because I think the line's only moved a half point. It's still plus 3.5, and that line seems weird anyway. I took Cleveland on the show. I'm going to keep taking Cleveland because my picks are in. I'm not betting that game, like on either side. Like something seems very suspicious about that line and about that game in general.
Yeah.
Now that everyone is all out on the Browns, is this the time they actually show up? Because they look bad against the Jets.
Again, the fear would just be like not that you want to go into any game without a secondary, but going into a game without a secondary against Sean McVay is a terrifying prospect. Their offense has looked incredibly out of whack. Their offensive line hasn't performed well. There's always the possibility that they just commit 12 penalties in a game. Like there's a lot of big red X's going against that team. I just think the Rams are a better team. I have we adjusted enough yet back to the Rams are good? Because I felt in week 1
I don't know. They played well last week, but they did not dominate.
Fair. But I just think
it's scary
that the Panthers were shot for shot with them. Like, yes, the Rams are good, but the Rams are not what they were like middle of the year last year good, if you know what I mean.
That's fair, but I think we rolled it a little too far back after the Super Bowl. I just remember coming into week 1, I know they ended up only covering it by a half point, but it was just they should be bigger favorites against the Panthers. They just should. And I don't know, maybe that's the odd part of this spread is just that we haven't corrected the Rams enough yet.
Potentially. Do you want any part of Jacoby Myers for the Patriots?
No.
You don't?
No.
He's going to play.
Yeah, but sure. I just think there's so many mouths to feed in that offense, especially if Burkhead's going to be playing a little bit more.
Yeah, but no Antonio Brown, no James White. It's a lot of targets to go around.
Yeah, but they probably just going to
no Izzo, right? No Lacostitute.
Oh, Lacostitute's not.
Plus, Falk will be throwing it all over the place, so they're going to have to try to catch up.
So
I don't believe that.
Mason Rudolph in
his
first
even
career.
Sell it for a second.
I can't even sell it myself.
How many catches does Le'Veon Bell end up with?
27? I'm gonna say 12.
like you talked about the running back you got to play. Like I would play Bell before I would play Elliott in this game in a PPR.
What?
Bell is right there with him. He's a top 3 or 4 PPR back now. That's established.
There's too many. Look, he's definitely like top 7, but there's too many just smash weeks for good running backs. for
And
him to be in
there's
the top 3 or 5.
Very little touchdown equity with Le'Veon Bell this
Yeah.
week. Just because
He scored last week, he didn't fumble. Like he was going to score.
I will say, as someone, or I mean, everyone's watched the primetime games recently, but he is sort of in this weird like Leonard Fournette type role where he's going to see all these targets, but unlike Fournette, he can make people miss.
Yeah.
So there's at least the chance that he gets like 90 yards receiving. But you almost, if you're going to say he's the best running back or a top 3 running back PPR on this slate, he's going to need like the 3-point bonus for going over 100 yards receiving. Because you're right. When was the last time the Jets scored a touchdown in Foxborough? It's like 3 years ago, right?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we had one stolen from us.
I remember that. I think that was in New York, though, wasn't it?
It may have been. I've tried to excise those thoughts from my mind.
Whatever happened to your boy Austin Safarian Jenkins?
He went to the Patriots, I thought, and then I don't know what happened.
They did cut him.
They got him. Maybe they need him back. Maybe that means Lacoste is going to end up playing. But the tough part with Bell is, and we saw this week 1 and just didn't even really think about it. But I know it's like it's a narrative and now it's a trope. But the Patriots do take away like the one thing you do well, and the Jets actually only do one thing well.
Yeah,
they only have one good player.
But I think when that thing is throwing it behind the line of scrimmage, they're like, yeah, just do that.
Just
That's
do
fine.
that all game.
Because look, I think the fact. We all focus so much on that Le'Veon Bell, trying to compare him to the 2017 version of himself based on skill and based on role within the offense in terms of, is this a high leverage situation because he's playing for a team that's going to score a lot of points? But we might just be glossing over the fact, too, that he's like Christian McCaffrey-esque in that he's just going to be on the field. At least we know that. He's not going, even in that game where they were losing by 3 touchdowns, still just taking his licks, catching 5-yard passes. He's going to play 90% of the snaps, and there's value in that.
Do you have any real thoughts on Colts Falcons? I'm looking at my Super 7 right now, and that's the last one that I threw on, Indy -1.5. So I have Cincinnati +6, because that is the biggest trap game.
So we're against each other on that one.
Oh, you took Buffalo? Everyone in the world is taking Buffalo -6, by the way.
I think Buffalo wins that, but I think it's real close.
Do you really, listen, I like the Bills. I think their defense is excellent. I love Josh Allen. I think he can have objectively a good fantasy game here. But now you're asking the Bills to beat teams by 6 or more, by more than 6 points?
I'm not going to take them.
Sure.
I'm not going to take them against the spread. Again, I think they win this game. They tend to be a lot better at home. They play well in Buffalo. And also, I guess I only do this for like the Jets, the Bills, and the Dolphins, but I always like to think long-term what could be the most heartbreaking. And I think having Bills fans go into a game in week 4 against the Patriots
3-0 at home.
3-0 at home. That's the ultimate heartbreaking recipe there.
Yeah, this feels like Bills by 3.
No, this is a play against the Bengals. I think the Bengals are legit bad.
Also that, the Bengals should also be the second worst team in the NFL.
They should, but they have enough speed on this team that I think that gives the Bills, they'll be able to throw a few shots at the Bills haven't seen through 2 weeks.
I like the over in sacks in this game. I think Buffalo could get home a lot in this game. That has all the making of Dalton just being overwhelmed.
That actually makes a lot of sense because Allen's going to just take sacks because he
hold on
runs
to the
around.
ball.
That too.
Yeah, I just defensive touchdowns in this game. I can see Allen will turn it over 3 times.
I like Bills defense and DFS.
Yeah, no, I'm on board with you on that. So I have Cincinnati +6, and I did Dallas and New England. It ate the points.
So I have Dallas. I did take Dallas.
Just screw it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Until Miami shows that they can cover within 10 points of one of these stupid numbers, I'm taking the stupid number.
Look, I think we're going to run into a situation. I don't know if it's week 4 or week 5. I think they play the Chargers in week 4. I can't remember who they play in week 5. But look, I'm not going to sit here and in any way. I mean, Fitzmagic, got to get him out of there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to defend this team. They know what they're doing. And they're doing it well. They want to lose. But I think we can't overlook, as Tim pointed out, the Ravens are now the overwhelming favorite to win the AFC North. They've played the Ravens. They've played the Patriots. They're about to play the Cowboys. These are arguably 3 of the 10 best teams in the NFL.
Yeah, so maybe
there's going to be a week.
They're playing 3 teams. They're playing 3 straight teams, 4 including next week, who all could very well win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
like
there might be a situation, and it might be the Chargers, because as Jeff pointed out on the show this week, the Chargers would be the team to be the first not to cover against the Dolphins. at some point it's going to get a little too inflated, and the Dolphins are going to play a team that isn't actually good.
Yeah. I'm
and
with
it's,
you.
and it's just going to be
Getting
crazy.
inflated, right?
The
That's how-
Cowboys
that's
are
how-
very good.
It
So-
should keep getting inflated because that's how markets work. You got to push it and push it and push it until there's take back.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm not the only game I bet against the spread this week was my super lock of the week. It's down to 5.5 now, actually, but I haven't the super 7 at 6.5. But it's Tampa Bay. People are real big on Danny Dimes. Is there anything more predictable than an overrated young New York quarterback?
Like, I feel like getting involved in this Tampa game myself because I like the Buccaneers a lot.
Like playing it?
Yeah, Tim's gonna be starting for the quarterback for the Jets next week, and the media will be like, "Oh, this Tim Andercust, he's pretty good. Watch out for him."
No, I like Tampa a lot in this game.
So do I.
Yeah.
Do we think
Their defense looks good.
the run,
Like,
the
I
run
intend to
defense
get involved in it.
specifically?
I intend to watch it a lot.
Oh, don't
Oh, I
watch
don't know.
this.
That's what I mean by
Don't-
invested. Like, I'm
don't.
involved. I intend to watch a lot of this game.
All
If
the
you
mo-
have two TVs, are they going to be on Jets, Patriots, and Giants,
Bucks, Giants.
Bucks Giants will be on a lot on my screen. Yes.
So you're not going to watch Ravens, Chiefs.
Well, one will be on the red zone, and one will be on like Giants, Bucks, and then Jets, Patriots.
Oh
I
my
think-
God.
So that's the only spread that I bet is that Tampa Bay spread, and I have it at 6.
I'll
And
say
it
this.
is 5.5 right now. But the money is pouring in on the people are so in on Daniel Jones in this team.
You think that's it, or people are like
I
Jameis?
don't get it.
I think there are people who are thinking Jameis shouldn't be laying these kind of points. Jameis can throw games away.
He can.
He-
That's very true.
He definitely can, but at the same time, you can. I know Jameis maybe pushes the edges of this theory, but I figured this out when we came into the season. The last 3 teams to lead the league in turnovers per drive, which Tampa Bay handily did last season, have improved by 7.5 wins the next year. Like, Tampa's obviously not going to be a team that wins 12 games.
No, Tim said they did. Said they will.
But I think they're a
I think
500
they're in 11
team.
games. I think they're the favorite to win the division now. They should be. I know they're not the
Okay.
betting favorite, but like the Saints are in trouble, the Panthers are in trouple, and I think the Falcons are wishy-washy. So
Okay.
Tampa probably isn't
Either
the best.
way, I just think that if they're going to have, at least a slightly above average defense, and Jameis has the potential in any given week to just be good Jameis.
Yeah, he has bad Jameis and good Jameis.
Exactly.
And in this game, he can be mediocre Jameis, and they can still cover this spread.
I just think they're an 8-win team and the Giants are a 3-win team. So I'm perfectly fine with taking them with the points.
Yeah, so I like them. I also have Washington +4, Pittsburgh +6.5, and Indy -1.5. Like, I hate the board this week. That's why I played so many props as opposed to I just felt far more comfortable with the props.
Yeah.
I do like the over 43.5 in the Cincinnati Buffalo game. That line has gone down because everyone smashed the under. Generally, if people are doing like one thing in droves to one side of a line, just take the other side. It's usually the way to go. With
Usually
this.
works out.
I just find it funny that like Giants, you would start this week in fantasy. Like, are you starting Sterling Shepard? Like, it's Ingram, it's Barkley, and then what?
Probably not. Unless you're
I
in, like,
wouldn't
a
be opposed to
3-receiver
starting-
flex league.
I wouldn't be opposed to starting Sterling if that's the sort of guy, like if it's a questionable thing. I think maybe Daniel Jones will really like him. So I guess it's not the worst thing in the world to play him.
Like, would you start Devin Smith or Sterling Shepard? Because I would play Devin
Shepard.
Smith.
I don't
Devin, yeah.
trust Devin Smith
I,
at all.
I would play
100%
Devin Smith for sure.
I think he was a one-game wonder.
Would you play John Ross or Sterling?
Oh,
Shepard?
I would play Ross. I
would
like
play
Ross.
Ross.
So you like Ross, but you don't think that Cincinnati's going to score any points?
I didn't say they're going to score any points. I just think the Bengals are not going to cover that spread.
Like, would you play JJ Arcega-Whiteside or Sterling Shepard? I think that there I would play Shepard,
Shepard.
but I have them very close in the rankings.
Yeah.
Would you play DK Metcalf? I think Metcalf's going to see Lattimore in this game, so Lockett's probably the
He
play again.
seems like
And
the
David
most
Moore's
likely-
back too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I love the Saints in that game, but so I don't think the Seahawks do much of that.
Yeah. So, is there any game like Gary and you feel particularly good about against the spread that maybe I throw into my Super 7? Because I'm negotiable on almost all of these.
You have my super lock in there,
I mean, we've
What's
talked.
your Super Lock?
the Redskins.
Yeah, I like the Redskins +4.
Yeah. We've talked about a lot of the games I felt most confident about.
Like, do you like Indy or Atlanta?
I think you should take the Vikings. Like, I think the Vikings are going to smash Oakland.
I picked Oakland. I don't have them in the Super 7, but I picked Oakland to cover the 9. 8.5 now.
I would side with Atlanta. I don't feel great about it.
You know
though.
what I
It's
like
not
in
a
that
game I'd
game?
have in the Super
Under
7.
47. It's a slow game.
Yeah.
And especially with Leonard being out, it's going to goat the Falcons into running the ball more instead of just bombing it.
Yeah.
And, you know, even with Marlon Mack banged up, we'll see if he's a go at 11:30. But whether it's Wilkins or whatever, they play really slow now. Like, that's a part of their new strategy with Jacoby Brissett, where they went from one of the fastest paced teams in the league with Andrew Luck to one of the slowest. With
and he throws a lot of short, just high efficiency passes.
Keep the clock going, long drives.
Yeah,
you should put Green Bay on your ticket.
I think I picked Green Bay, but I don't feel good about that game at all.
I don't know how the Broncos are going to get over 14 points. I just don't see it. Unless they get like a defensive score or something.
Do you want to hear my super prop parlay that I played? I didn't even put it out to the public because it's stupid.
Okay.
But, you know, I'll share it with you. It pays 200 to 1.
Okay.
If that's something that you're interested in.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it now. So before we get to the
how many props are we talking about here?
I think it's 8 props. I think that's the 4 team. Here we are. 8-way parlay pays 210 to 1. Cole Beasley over 3.5 catches.
Okay.
Demarcus Robinson over 3.5 catches. Plus 130 by the way. Demir Bird over 35.5 receiving yards.
Sure.
Phillip Lindsay over 3.5 catches.
I like that.
Ted Ginn Jr. under 3.5
I do
catches.
like that one too.
Will Fuller over 25.5 longest reception. This is suspended now. Devin Smith over 28.5 receiving yards. They've taken that off the board, but I have it. And Darren Waller over 4.5 catches against the Vikings.
That's the one that'll get you. If there's one that'll
Who
get
else
you.
are they passing to? They're 9 points.
That'll get you.
Well, I'd like to
I'm
hear
sorry.
that.
They're called Insta Raiders.
Darren Waller is like the biggest part of this offense.
I don't know that he is.
Garion, would you like to weigh in on Darren Waller? Hardly knew her.
I think he's very good.
Yeah,
I think he's a good player. I don't think he's going to have that many catches today.
I mean, he has each of the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's
always going to happen. Then
that's definitive. But
well, I mean that was
part of this offense.
That was also Tim's argument against Kyle Allen scoring a rushing touchdown. Well, people haven't done it the first 2 weeks.
Well, just good running quarterbacks.
Well, when I say it, it's a real thing. When you say it, you know, it's fake
no,
news.
I'm interested in nuance and context. You're just interested in yelling at me.
Oh, that is suspended. That's great.
Yeah, that's not good. That means it's going way up. It means too many people bet that prop. So now it's definitely working in the
All the people listening to this show.
Hopefully we can win some money. I've been good on props.
Hey,
You're a prop master.
Week.
Yeah, I had a golf winner. I had parlays with props. I had every prop that I put out. It was great.
Yeah.
So this week cannot go well for me, I bet. Questions coming up in 5 minutes. I'll call for questions here soon. Any other thing you think we should talk about? We barely talked about Texans Chargers. And the only take I really have is over 5.5 sacks. But I like Chargers. Let's talk defenses, because you were the defense whisperer last week. You used the Patriots.
Sure. I used the Patriots.
I didn't. Why didn't I use the Patriots? What's wrong with me?
Look, I think there is a relatively set in stone and you know, grounded philosophy that you don't use the most expensive defense on the board. I think that's fine.
That's a good way to save money.
Yeah.
Would you play Patriots or Dallas this week?
I would rather of the two play Dallas because I just think the Jets. I don't think Luke Falk can throw it more than 15 yards.
Tim, as the Luke Falk whisperer, what do you know about it?
I would play the Cowboys only because the Jets at least are trying.
And look, I would mock that sensibility, but I just think the Jets sort of like the Colts.
Well.
They're not going to throw any dangerous passes. They're not going to force the ball down the field. They're going to run the ball as much as they can. Whether or not they are able to do that in the second half is, a little bit up in the air. But I just don't think there's the opportunity for turnovers quite like there is.
I agree completely.
With Miami?
With Miami.
So
New England's like an 11 or 12 point defense this week.
I'm with you with New England. I think that they're a good defense. I think that if you're shooting for upside, the Cowboys are the move, but they're $4,300 on DraftKings.
It's a lot. It is.
But if you're going to pay up, they're the ones. I am actually with Tim. I think the Bills at $3,400 are a fantastic play.
A lot. Yep.
But if you're going to pay down, I think there are two options you can turn to this
Chargers.
49ers.
Well, the 49ers are expensive.
Yeah, they're like
they're 3,200.
32,
And
yeah.
no, the Chargers at 2,500 I think is a very nice play.
And they also just pair so well with Eckler. It's
they
just
pair
such a
well
nice,
with Eckler. They
easy
pair
stack.
well. Like Deshaun can put up 30 points in this game and still get sacked 7 times and throw a pick 6. Yep. Like the opportunity for them to score a lot of points is there. The other one, and although I like Seattle in this game, I think the Saints defense is criminally underpriced at $2,200. They generate the most pressure of any team in football from their defensive line. Russell Wilson is behind what might be one of the worst offensive lines in the league. You just have to hedge against the situation that they run the ball 75 times. If Wilson has to pass 30 times in this game, he's getting dropped 5 times.
Yeah. Again, it's just the fear that they tend to run an offense that's, you can't go broke making a profit sort of sensibility of just let's not have negative plays.
Cheap defenses play the Cardinals against a rookie QB is not very good. That's the play.
I don't think you can play the Cardinals defense in a game where there's just going to be that many plays. Look, there's turnover potential to be sure.
Maybe you'll have 3 and outs.
I see that. Look, it's weird to say this because I actually think Allen is a very good play this week at his price point, but I think that his sort of average depth of target could be very similar to Luke Falk's. I feel like he's going to be dumping the ball off a lot to Rig Olson.
But we're going to get
McCaffrey.
A sprinkle of Taysom Hill as a quarterback. That was the report this morning.
They should. Taysom Hill can play too.
No, but I'm just saying in terms of using the Cardinals defense, I just don't think there's going to be a lot of.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Saints defense. Sorry.
No, I like the Saints defense. I'm with you, but Tim just brought up using Cardinals defense. Yeah. I just don't think it's there.
Use him with Damiere Byrd. Maybe he'll return a touchdown. Revenge game for Damiere Byrd, too. Go. Just like the Vance McDonald revenge game in the Bay Area. I like Vance McDonald this week. It looks like Dallas Goedert is on the field right now and trying to run routes, but not really running routes all that well.
Just sad running routes?
Yeah, he looks real gimpy, so that's not good.
Not ideal.
All right, we got 4-minute warning here, so I'm going to go to the chat. I'm going to mark off where people are asking questions. So questions from this point forward will be answered on the show. So I guess I have to say goodbye to all the audio listeners out there. Thank you for downloading, subscribe, rate, and review. And if you want to tune in to the live Pat Mayo experience where you get your questions answered every Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, every Monday afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the DraftKings YouTube channel. So thanks for listening. Good luck in week 3. I'll see you next time. The live chat. So put your questions in. Tim, did he do anything to lose any bands, do you think?
Yeah, I was just trying to think about that.
Tim, you've been pretty good.
Yeah,
I was on my best behavior.
He hasn't talked over anybody.
I think I've heard back one of the bands I lost.
Oh, he just talked over me while I was trying to do that. That's minus a band. So you have 3 bands going into chat period. The rules of the chat. How do you get banned for life? Well, it's pretty easy. If you mention the name Mark Ingram, you will be banned for life. If you ask the same question twice, you will be banned for life. If you respond to other people's questions in the chat instead of just asking a question, you will be banned for life. Oh, also, if you use a common last name like Johnson or Brown, we are going to round down, unless you put an initial or a first name, we're going to round down to the worst person with that name and then give you a start-sit answer. Have I missed anything, Garion? My voice is going.
No, I think
Don't ask anything that comes up on the Monday show.
Oh, yeah, don't ask waiver wire questions.
No waiver wire trade questions. This is start-sit only. Last week, there was over 1,500 questions asked. We got to 700 of them. This is all for efficiency purposes. Like, if you ask the same question twice, then you're just taking away from other people. We're going to get to as many in order as we can. So, you ready to start this?
Yeah, let's go.
First one, TJ Hawkinson or OJ Howard. I'll play the Hawk.
I would play Howard, I suppose.
I'll play Hawkinson.
Okay. Sanders or Brandon Cooks. I'll play Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I'll play Cooks.
Yeah.
Hawkinson or OJ Howard from a different person.
I'm not even sure who the worst Sanders is at this point. I would even say it's Miles.
It says E. Sanders.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah. Debo, Darwin, Demarcus Robinson, or Freeman in the flex.
Oh, Freeman, I hate it too.
Well, I don't know. Is that Royce or is that Devonta? And who's worse?
I'm going to go with Devonta here.
Yeah, I am too, and I don't like it.
Last chance saloon.
Unless McCoy sits, then it would be Darwin for sure.
Sure.
I would go with Demarcus Robinson.
Sure. If McCoy's going to sit, it's definitely Darwin, but I think Freeman actually has a good game today.
Miles Sanders, Tyrell Williams, or Curtis Samuel. I would go with Tyrell Williams.
Yeah, Tyrell.
Oh, yeah, Tyrell. He's the best part of their offense.
Chris Thompson or DK Metcalf. I'd play Thompson.
Thompson. Always play the RB.
Oh, no. Now the chat jumped on me. Great. That's always great news, Tim. I blame you for this. Would you play Philip Lindsay or Sex Rex Burkhead? I would play Philip Lindsay.
Yeah, Philip Lindsay.
Burkhead.
Duke Johnson or Burkhead? There I would play Burkhead.
Yeah, I play Burkhead.
Burkhead, yeah.
Brandon Cooks or Matt Breida? Brandon Cooks.
Yep. Cooks.
Yeah, there I take Cooks.
Chris Carson or Marlon Mack? I play Chris Carson.
Mac.
Banged up
Carson.
Marlon Mack?
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it.
He'll
Not-
be fine.
Yeah, yeah. That'd be great. Guy can barely
I
walk.
don't
He's
know, I
fine.
don't get wrapped around on these things. People overthink
My
it.
legs are severely broken.
Hey, you've already went on about how James Conner sucks because he's too hurt.
No, I didn't think he sucks. I just said that was not a great point in favor of the Steelers. I still would play him in every circumstance.
Brennan Cooks or Stefan Diggs? Brennan Cooks.
Cooks.
Diggs, I need him to start doing something.
Just because you need him to start doing something doesn't mean he's a better play than Brandon Cooks.
I stand by one.
Demarcus Robinson or Robert Woods? I think it's Woods.
Yeah, it's Woods.
I would play Woods.
Peyton Barber or Will Fuller? Full point PPR. I would use Will
Peyton.
Fuller.
Peyton Barber.
Fuller. I feel like I'm just going to go opposite of whoever just had the good week in Tampa. That's probably just the way to go.
Yeah, and it's like, what's the upside for Peyton? His upside is what he did last week.
He has to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
And even last week, it was like a 21-yard, he happened to break a couple tackles. It wasn't even a goal line carry.
Sammy Watkins or Sony Michel? I'll go with Watkins.
Sammy, yeah.
Watkins, yeah. Don't reward the people in the chat using emojis to like signify how important their question is. Like that's bad form. Those people should not be
What emojis signify importance?
Yeah, I don't see any.
People are using like alarm signs and stuff. Like those people don't get extra attention.
I feel like if anything, a
emoji.
flashing alarm is very much the way to get Pat's attention.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right. That just because you know how to use these fancy pictures in there doesn't mean you get special priority over others.
You think that emojis are fancy pictures?
No emojis.
These kids with their
Next
fancy,
emoji I see.
the fancy moving pictures.
Well, I'm not even there yet, so you can't use a band until we actually get to it. I'll find when we get to an emoji, and I'll describe the emoji, and then you can weigh in. How about that?
Sure.
Mahomes or Dak? I'm not benching Mahomes for anyone. I have Dak.
Just play Mahomes.
I have Dak at number 3 in my rankings. I have Mahomes at number 1. I'm not changing that. Vance, Waller, or Mark Andrews? I'll say
Vance in a revenge game.
I'll say Mark Andrews.
Yeah, it's Andrews, but if he doesn't play, then I'm going to go with...
I would go with Waller.
Waller, yeah.
Yeah. Diggs, hard man, or DJ Moore? DJ Moore. I'm not concerned about DJ Moore here.
No,
Diggs.
And I think, too, we're going to see... This Minnesota game sets up to be a lot like week 1.
Where they don't pass?
Yeah. Throw it like 11 times.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's go more.
Josh Allen or Matt Stafford? Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Josh Allen averaging 22.5 DK points.
Yeah,
Since
Josh
his
Allen's
last
Josh
injury.
Allen-
Incredible.
He's amazing.
Josh Allen's almost a must start.
Yeah, he's number 4 in said QB rank.
Yeah, I believe it.
Vance McDonald or Darren Waller? Darren Waller for me.
Waller.
Vance.
I'm not here to pick your DraftKings team. I'm sorry, pal. Pick your own fucking team. Frank Gore or Sony Michel? Sony Michel.
Sonny Michel. Sonny Michel's just better version of Frank Gore.
Yeah.
On a better team that's going to score more points.
You're picking Gore over Michel?
Yeah, I think Burkhead has a far more significant role in this game than you do.
Look, I think Burkhead
They can both have big roles.
I think Burkhead plays
They're
a
going to
lot
score.
of snaps and catches
They're going to
some
score
passes, but-
8,000 points.
We shall see. Jets have given up 23 and 17 in 2 weeks, and one of the touchdowns was a weard sort of flukish one
He's
last
talking himself into it.
Oh, yeah.
week. I think the Patriots win, but I don't know if they're getting to 30.
How much would the Jets have to lose by in this game for you to be like sad about it?
I don't know what amount that could happen. I've already sort of given up.
What if it-
I just,
What-
oh
what-
my God, I feel so bad for Tim. I just realized that he had 2 football games this week where he's like, they're 100% going to lose. I just don't want them to lose by that much. And that's going to make his week.
He's turned into you.
Yeah.
Connor, Breida, or Garion Johnson? I play Connor.
Connor.
Yes, of course.
Can I trust Olsen? That's a bannable question.
Oh, which one? Mary Kate or Ashley? Tough to know.
Let's see. In terms of QB value, would you rather use Kyle Allen, Mason Rudolph, or Dak
What does that even mean?
for DraftKings?
Okay.
Means in terms of their value.
Yeah, in terms of their value based on their
Okay, with
price.
DK value.
I think 2 of the 3 are usable.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
Kyle
using
Allen is
Dak
great.
and Allen. It depends on how you want to build. I like Dak as a value from the high end.
The nice thing about Dak is you can stack the Cowboys with Dak and still have it be incredibly cheap. Because
I
of
would take
the
Cooper
greatness
Rush.
of Devin Smith.
Yes. So yeah, Kyle Allen and Dak for me. Kyle Allen over Mason Rudolph.
I'm
from the
currently
bottom end.
building a Dak lineup as we speak.
Oh, nice. Christian Kirk, Royce Freeman, Kiki Cutie, or Miles Sanders. I would play Christian Kirk.
Yep.
The Sanders, I guess.
No, that's Miles Sanders.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, then I would play Kirk.
Pick 2, Josh Gordon, Brendan Cooks, Larry Fitzgerald.
First 2.
I'm going to play Fitz and Cooks.
Fitz and Cooks?
Fitz has 23 targets.
I like Fitz. I'll play Gordon and Cooks. They're very close.
Okay.
San Fran defense or Packers defense?
Ooh, I like them a lot.
I like the Packers
guess
D.
in that instance, I would play the Packers
I'm
because
gonna
I think the
say
Broncos
San
just can't
Fran.
score.
Oh, this guy's answering other people's questions.
I feel
He's
like,
banned
again,
for life.
Flacco's in that class of just like such a boring quarterback who never forces
Flacco
the issue. I
is
just
now the
don't-
worst QB around now that Eli's out. Flacco has become now the person
Look,
we all.
he's
Are
horrible.
we sure Mariota's not the worst?
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to ask Garion. Garion
Who's been
despises.
right? Who's been right about this for 4 years now?
I'm on your side.
But look, Flacco threw 14 passes to his running backs last week. Like, I know he did throw that interception, but I just think their chances for turning the ball over are so slim.
Yeah. I don't love either of those defenses.
Sure.
Pick up the Saints. No one's using them. They're available.
They're going over there.
Tyler Boyd, Carryon Johnson, or Frank Gore. Oh, I'll play Boyd.
Yeah.
Boyd will be
Gore.
playing the slot against the Bills.
Oh man.
That's
Yeah.
bad
Gore, I
news.
agree.
Pick 2. David Montgomery, Christian Kirk, or Devonta Freeman. I'll go Kirk for sure.
Freeman and Kirk.
I'll go Kirk and Montgomery.
I will go Kirk and Montgomery as well.
Would you play Darwin Thompson, Joe Mixon, or Sanders, who I'm guessing is
No,
Miles
Mixon. I would definitely play Mixon.
I'd play Mixon. Unless McCoy is out, then I would play Darwin.
Even then, I think I would play Mixon.
The Bills are a pretty stout defense. Yeah. It's Mixon,
It's Mixon.
unless what you said happens.
Darwin Thompson, Mike Williams, or Me Cole, hard man.
There I'm playing Darwin.
I'm playing Mike Williams.
Williams.
Yeah. Josh Gordon or Breda in the flex half point. Gordon.
Yeah, I guess I would play Gordon.
Pick 1. Jacobs, Mack, or Galladay. Play Galladay.
Mac.
Mack would be last for me of
Yeah.
those players.
Okay, well, that was my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna play Galladay.
Standard non-PPR pick 2. David Montgomery, Allen Robinson, and Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon for sure.
Josh Gordon definitely.
And
Probably.
A-Rob.
Yeah, probably Allen. He gets Norman, but I don't really care about that at this point.
Yeah, that's a little.
If
passive.
anything, that's a good thing.
Chris Thompson or Darwin Thompson? Again, we'll preface all of these with we think LaShawn McCoy is playing at the
Yes.
moment. Then I would play Chris
I would
Thompson.
also play Chris Thompson.
Agreed.
Barkley or Elliott in GPPs? I used a bit of both because no one's playing Barkley, but Elliott's objectively the better play, I think.
Yeah. Look,
I
Barkley
guess
can go
that's
off
right.
any week, but as we've said, Tampa Bay's defense looks pretty stout against the run.
Yeah, Barkley's not only more expensive, his team is projected for 24 fewer points.
I believe it's actually like 12, but you're in the ballpark.
Frank Gore or Carlos Hyde? Let's play Frank Gore.
Frank Gore.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers or Josh Allen? My main man, Josh Allen.
It's Josh Allen.
We're there. We are there now where I am going to say, okay, you can bench Aaron Rodgers and play Josh
okay,
Allen.
look,
I wasn't
in
there
that
yet.
specific sense.
I'm now there.
Yeah, I mean, you don't just bench Aaron
I
Rodgers
was
to
going to say,
bench him.
yeah, if you have Josh
But if you
Allen,
have
you
Josh
can
Allen,
bench
that's
Aaron
what I meant.
Rodgers. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm ready to bench him for someone like that now.
Full point PPR, Gore or Sex Rex? Play Gore.
Or
Godwin, Carryon Johnson, David Montgomery, or John Brown in the flex. That's a good situation to be
Definitely
I'm
Godwin.
going to play Godwin.
in. It's Godwin. It's
Oh,
Godwin.
for a second, I thought it was 2
No.
because I was like, he must.
If it
why
was-
even ask the question if you have Godwin?
Yeah, Godwin's the answer, and John Brown would be second.
Yeah.
Start Devonta Freeman or Josh Jacobs? Josh Jacobs for me.
Yes, Jacobs.
Pick 3. So sit 1, I
Yeah.
guess. Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Chris Carson. I actually said Cup.
Ooh, yeah, it's Cup. But
I'm going to sit Cup.
Okay.
yeah, that's a great situation to be in. Though.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Oh, half point PPR. Miles Sanders or Scary Terry? Go with Scary Terry.
Terry.
Miles Sanders.
What is it that Miles Sanders has done that makes you like Miles Sanders?
I just think he's going to be an important cog in that offense
Why?
today.
I think eventually Tim is right. I'm going to let it happen first before I start investing.
This is you know what, and it sort of burned us last week, I guess, but it's like we said going into week 2 with David Montgomery, and let it happen. And if it happens on your bench,
I wasn't even sold with what Montgomery did
Yeah,
last
sure.
week. He got 5 carries from inside like the 1 yard line and finally got in.
Sure.
Congrats.
but at the very least, it was like you had that on your bench, but at least now you know there's even the possibility for him to get 16 touches in a game. Yeah, wait and see with Sanders.
Nah, that's loser talk. I want to hit oil when he's on my starting.
I'm just going
roster.
out in the field with a pickaxe.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
he is doing a Dolphin stack. So, question.
No, I'm not. I'm
yes,
not
sir.
doing.
Be quiet.
Can I skip? Sorry, can I skip the queue here?
Yeah.
I got one flex spot: Carlos Hyde, Josh Gordon, Tyler Boyd, or DJ Moore. I just have to play one of them.
DJ Moore.
Josh Gordon.
Yeah, they're all like really close in terms of projections.
I'd go DJ Moore.
Yeah,
DJ
I would
Moore.
say Gordon's 2 for me. But
Me too.
DJ Moore.
Yeah, DJ Moore's the guy who's in
All
there.
skipping the line, using producing power to skip the line.
I respect it.
PPR flex: Aguilar, Breda, or Fuller.
Breda. In that circumstance.
It's Aguilar.
I'd say it's Breda or Fuller. I go Fuller over Aguilar.
I think
The problem is
Aguilar
that
catches
Mostert-
8 passes in this game, and I think
Yeah, I
that's
mean, the problem is
perfectly
that
fine
Mostert-
in your season-long leagues. I'm just staying away from
Mostert
the
has a
DFS.
real role on that offense.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be 50-50.
Tim loves Grey Poop Pump, but then Jeff Wilson might come in and steal all the touchdowns again. Would you go Witten, Vernon Davis, or Gerald Everett? I would go Vernon Davis.
Yes, I would as well.
I would go Everett, but it's close.
Oh, this guy says Mark Ingram, banned for life. Asshole, get out of my chat.
Nice.
Worried about the QB situation for DJ Moore. Would you play DJ Moore, Hardman, or Demarcus Robinson? I would play DJ Moore.
Yeah, DJ Moore.
Yeah, I would play more.
Allen Robinson or John Ross? Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
Ooh. No,
man,
I'm going to
John-
play Ross. I don't like the Bears' chances that
John
much.
Ross is like even worse Tyler Lockett 2018. This is going to
Yeah,
be
I don't
just
like
a
either.
headache for me the entire season.
Devin Smith or Randall Cobb? It's Devin Smith
Devin
for me.
Smith.
Cobb, I don't like Smith.
Non-PPR, Kirk, Diggs, Mostert, or DK Metcalf. I play Christian Kirk.
Mostert. I'll play Mostert in non-PPR.
Oh,
I play
man,
Christian
is
Kirk.
Kirk better than Diggs?
Yes,
I guess
Kirk
so,
is better
yeah.
than Diggs,
Yeah,
at least at this point.
yeah.
Carlos Hyde or Mike Williams? Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
Yes.
Yes to what?
Yes,
Mike
Williams.
Oh, they just
I said yes.
Yes.
Hyde or Mike Williams? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Darwin Robinson. That would be Demarcus Robinson, Devonta Freeman, or Debo.
Devonta Freeman.
Demarcus
Freeman.
Robinson.
Freeman.
Demarcus Robinson. Debo or Mike?
High-end RB2 this week. Devonta Freeman.
Low end flex. Devonta Freeman.
Fair enough.
Debo or Mike Williams? Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
Demarcus Robinson or Darwin Thompson? I'll go with Robinson again until we hear.
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
shady
I
things.
agree.
Barkley or Kamara in the Millionaire Maker? I'd actually play if they're both going to be low owned. Give me Barkley.
Yeah, sure. If you can
I'll
afford
play
it.
Kamara because I think the Saints have a pretty decent day.
Keenan Allen or Sammy Watkins?
Keenan.
I'll play Keenan.
Watkins. I think he's there now while Hill's
Over
out.
Keenan Allen. Right?
I have them both
Watkins
inside
is
the
in
top
that
10.
group now.
Sure.
Yeah, I think they're neck and neck.
Which defense would you rather play? The Bucs, the Chargers, or the Eagles? I play the Chargers.
Chargers.
Bucks because I get a rookie QB. I'll take that chance.
Will Fuller, Carlos Hyde, or Miles Sanders in non-PPR? I'd play Fuller.
Fuller.
Even better.
Would you trade? No. Trade question, banned for life.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, here's the guy with alert sign emojis. You want this guy banned for life?
Yeah, he has to go.
Oh,
It's the only way to learn.
and he asked his question twice. So there's one of Tim's bans. Banned for life, pal. Get out of my chat. Need one from these three. Aguilar, Kirk, or Allen Robinson. I'll go Kirk.
Kirk.
Yeah. No, Aguilar. I'm taking Aguilar.
Okay. Need two. Tyler Boyd, Hollywood Brown, Josh Gordon. I'll go Gordon and Brown.
Yeah.
What was the first person again? Sorry.
Tyler Boyd.
Boyd and Brown.
Okay. Metcalf, Brandon Cooks, Dorsett, or Mostert. Pick two.
Cooks.
Cooks and Mostert.
Who was the third guy?
Dorsett.
Eh.
Sneaky Dorsett here.
Ooh, yeah.
I'll go Cooks and Dorsett.
Yeah, I think so.
You guys are sleeping on Mostert.
Demarcus Robinson or Josh Jacobs. I will play Josh
Josh
Jacobs.
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 Mixon or Lindsey. I'll still play Mixon.
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 Any update on the Chiefs running back situation? I'm not fucking Google. Figure that shit out on your
You're
own.
not.
There
You're
has
not.
There has not been, by the way.
You are not their librarian.
Vance McDonald and Devin Smith and DK, or Jack Doyle and DK Metcalf. Do Vance and Devin Smith, clearly.
Yeah. Well, why would I ever play Jack Doyle? Oh my goodness.
Like, oh my god.
Definite touchdown for Jack Doyle this week, by the way, now.
Like no, that he's useless. He's unownable in any format.
Pick two. Josh Gordon, Sony Michelle, or Larry Fitzgerald.
I'm gonna go Fitz and Oh man. Sony and Fitz.
I'll go Sony and Fitz as well. Only because of
Sure.
that combination.
Yeah.
OJ Howard or Austin Hooper? I'll play Austin Hooper.
Hooper.
Yeah, Hooper.
Metcalf, Crowder, or Barber for the flex? I'll go Peyton Barber.
If it's PPR, I'm going to take Crowder. If it's not, I will take the running back.
See, I think Le'Veon is just
Did
Crowder's role.
Did Crowder even get a target from
He got a couple
Colombo?
late in the game.
Yeah, but you know what? They had to switch QBs halfway through the game. So, like, whatever.
Galladay or Watkins? Watkins.
Watkins.
Hollywood Brown or John Brown? John Brown.
Hollywood Brown.
Pick 3. Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks, Hollywood Brown, Chris Kirk, Josh Jacobs.
Jacobs?
I'd say Cooks, Brown,
Cooks,
Brown,
Brown,
and
and
Jacobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I say too.
James Washington or Aguilar in GPPs? Watch out
Aguilar.
for,
I don't
watch
think
it-
Washington does anything.
watch out for Deontay Thompson in this game, who's actually starting
Yeah.
instead of James Washington.
Washington could very well get a 0 in this game.
I would play neither of those two guys in GPPs, to tell you the truth. I'd find better options listed in my DK cheat sheet up on DKPlaybook.com. Mecole Hardman or John Ross? Take John Ross.
No,
Yeah.
Hardman.
Yeah, I'm going to go Hardman.
Okay. Mike Williams or Debo? Mike Williams?
Mike Williams.
Williams.
Flex. Darwin, Hardman, Breda. Go Breda.
Breda.
Yeah, Breda.
Start 2. Darwin, Christian Thompson. I guess that's Chris Thompson. Hardman or Christian Kirk. I'd go
Kirk
Chris
and
Thompson
Chris
and
Thompson.
Christian Kirk.
Yeah, Thompson and Kirk.
Hollywood Brown, Josh Gordon, or Matt Breda. I'll go Hollywood Brown.
Josh
I'm gonna go
Gordon.
Josh Gordon there.
Okay. Any word on Marlon Mack yet?
No.
Because this guy's asking about Wilkins.
Like I said, we're probably still 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
From
For a
definitively
flex,
finding out
Wilkins,
stuff.
Witten, or Jamal Williams. It's probably actually Witten. Just hope he gets a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly my perspective on it.
Yeah, look, he's going to have red zone targets. Sure.
What's your thoughts on Disley? That is not a question appropriate for this chat. You're banned for life. You can look at the fucking
Nice.
rankings. They're in the description. Boyd or Lockett or David Montgomery. Need 2. I go the receivers, Boyd and Lockett.
Yeah, Garion loves Lockett.
I have no problem with him this season.
Pick 2. Metcalf, Scary Terry, Burkhead, Fuller, Ross, Valdez Scantling, or Curtis Samuel. I think.
By the way, people have to stop asking questions with like 7 options. That's too many questions. That's too many options.
No, these are the
Listeners
options.
can't hear all the names.
No.
It's too much information.
No,
It's actually
if those are your options, that's fine.
that's a very bad type of question.
It's
Don't
not
ask-
a very. That is not.
You
That is a
have-
legitimate question.
You have 2
Listeners can't-
bans. You have
listeners
to.
can't
If you
absorb
want to
all
keep
those.
complaining, you have 2 bans.
No, I'm just saying I think those are bad types of questions.
That is exactly the type of question that we're looking for.
6 is too many. No one can absorb 6 names and then it's too difficult on the fly.
Okay, if it's
Studies
more,
say,
if it's
studies
more
say
than,
even a monkey can remember 7 numbers. Are
It's a
you-
good written question, not a good oral question.
if there are more than
We
4,
banned Tim.
if there's more than 4 names in the question, we won't ask Tim. How about that?
Sure.
So again, Garion.
Yes.
Metcalf, Scary Terry, Rex Burkhead, Will Fuller, John Ross, Valdez Scantling, or Curtis Samuel. All pretty similar options.
Yeah.
I would play Fuller for sure.
Yeah. He's the one who stood out.
An MVS.
MVS
I'm
will
not
be
really
last
going
on
with
that.
MVS.
No,
yeah.
MVS is going to score this week. I guarantee
Scary
it.
Terry.
Yeah, I think so.
So McLaurin and Will Fuller would be the 2. Gore, DK Metcalf, or DJ Moore. Non-PPR, DJ Moore.
Yeah, DJ Moore.
Non-PPR Gore.
Okay. Demarcus Robinson, Tyrell Williams, or Marvin Jones? Tyrell Williams.
Yeah, it's him or Jones, but I guess I'm going to take Williams.
Hardman or John Brown? John Brown.
John Brown.
Yeah.
Would you trust Josh Jacobs? That is not a question appropriate for this. Who the fuck cares if I trust him or not? I have rankings where they're listed in order. Pick 2. Will Fuller.
Rashad Penny not expected to play.
Woo! Over 16.5 carries. Chris Carson, there's a prop for you. Pick 2. Will Fuller, Larry Fitz, Christian Kirk, Emmanuel Sanders. On DK.
Sanders and Fitz.
For DraftKings, I'd go Fuller and Kirk. For actual like redraft leagues, I'd go Fitz and Sanders. But I like the upside. Like if you're trying to win a tournament, you want the super long touchdown upside guys.
Yeah. I don't know. I really like Fitz this week, though.
I think it fits for you. Josh Jacobs or Joe Mixon? Josh Jacobs.
Jacobs. Yep.
Mason Rudolph or Baker Mayfield?
Baker.
Baker.
Yeah, Mayfield.
Montgomery or Tyler Lockett? Lockett.
Lockett.
Lockett. over Ty Montgomery.
Tyrell Williams or Josh Gordon?
No, Josh Gordon. I'm playing Gordon.
I'd play Tyrell Williams.
I'm gonna go Josh Gordon, but it's close.
Tyrell Williams or Stefan Diggs? Tyrell Williams.
Williams.
Diggs. He'd be good.
Burkhead or Mostert? I'd go Burkhead.
Burkhead.
I like both these guys, so I'm going to take Mustard.
Mostert, Greg Olson, or Devin Smith? Devin Smith.
Devin Smith.
Mustard.
Brandon Cooks or Stefan Diggs? Brandon Cooks.
Cooks.
Yeah, there I got to take Cooks.
Ooh. Jalen Samuels or LaShawn McCoy? I guess I give it LaShawn McCoy.
There you go, McCoy.
Yeah, McCoy.
Mixon or Montgomery? Mixon.
Mixon.
Taysom Hill or Teddy Bridgewater? Can you play neither? That would be good.
That is
There's
not a
gotta
serious
be
question.
Somebody better.
Ban that person.
Ban that person? Okay.
That is not a serious question. They're
that
wasting our valuable time.
One left. Okay. I feel like you're just looking for bans.
No, that's a good ban. That's someone clearly trying to waste our time.
So, hall monitor cast.
Well, you know what? Someone has to keep the trains running on time here. I feel like that's part of my job.
All right, 9 minutes left of questions. Sony Michel or Josh Gordon? Sony Michel.
Michel.
Yeah.
Cobb or Metcalf?
Cobb.
Metcalf.
I'll gamble with Metcalf in that one. Breda or Jacobs? Jacobs.
Jacobs.
PPR flex, Breda, Darwin Thompson, or Hardman? I'll go Breda.
Yeah, PPR Thompson.
Darwin Thompson.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, sorry. Breda.
Would you play Josh Gordon or McCole Hardman? Gordon. It was always Gordon. Boyd or Chris Carson? Chris Carson, not close.
Carson.
Agreed.
David Montgomery or Frank Gore? I would play Frank Gore.
Yeah.
Oh no, the chat skipped on me, Garion.
Ban the chat.
Where are we at here? Oh, just
ban a few people to set examples.
We did just ban a few people. I don't know if it really
random.
I don't think it's setting an example for anything. I wanted to try to fly through this, but Sanders or Dorsett?
Sanders? I don't know what.
I'll take Manny.
It just says Sanders, so it's the worst. Sanders.
Miles,
so Miles
worse.
Sanders,
Okay,
Dorsett.
So then we'll say Dorsett.
Marvin Jones or Tyrell Williams? Tyrell Williams.
Williams.
One word answers now. We don't need your. We don't need any more detail than that, Tim.
Williams.
Okay. Witten, Wilkins, or Jamal Williams?
Witten.
We had that one already, didn't we?
Did we? I had to go back up in the chat. Goff or Murray?
Murray.
Diggs. Were you gonna say more?
No, I stopped myself.
Gore, Diggs, or Aguilar? Gore.
Gore.
Yeah, Gore.
Let's see. Josh Allen or Jameis Winston? Josh Allen.
Agreed.
Josh Jacobs or Allen Robinson? Josh Jacobs.
Agreed.
Galladay, Hollywood Brown, or Cup?
Galladay.
Cup.
Duke Johnson or Amendola? Duke Johnson.
Yeah.
Yes, Duke Johnson.
Mostert, Hardman, or Aguilar? There I would play Aguilar.
Aguilar.
Yeah, Aguilar.
Witten or Walt Disley?
Witten.
Wow, this guy's asking trade questions. He's banned for life.
Nice.
Pick 2, Lockett, Cooks, or Calvin Ridley?
Ridley Cooks.
Yeah, definitely Cooks. Ridley.
Cooks or Lockett? Cooks. This guy's asking the same question twice in back-to-back succession. Banned for life. PPR flex. Breda, Larry Fitz, or Frank Gore? I'll go Larry Fitz there.
Fitz.
Gore.
Flex. Hollywood Brown or Cooper Kupp? Hollywood Brown.
Cup.
I'll take Cup there.
Really?
Yeah.
Christian Kirk, Tyler Boyd, John Brown, Devonta Freeman. Start 1. John Brown.
Freeman.
Freeman might be the worst of those guys. By a
Yeah.
margin.
I like Freeman this week.
I know.
Need 2. Aguilar, Allen Robinson, or Brandon Cooks?
Cooks and Aguilar.
Yeah.
Bench Robinson.
I go Cooks and Robinson.
I bench Robinson.
2 of 3? You'd bench Allen Robinson over at Nelson Aguilar?
Yeah.
This week, yes.
Okay.
Gary
Need 2.
Richard?
Are you going to keep going? Diggs, Ridley, Mike Williams. Mike Williams and Ridley.
Diggs and Ridley.
Yeah, you're sitting Diggs for me.
Need 1 for flex. Rex Burkhead, Colonel Mostert, or John Ross?
Burke.
I'll go Burkhead.
Man, Ross is going to catch another 80-yard touchdown.
Oh, Tim, do you want to use your last ban on this question? Should I bench Juju?
Yes, ban that person.
Manny Sanders or Burkhead? I'll go Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
Yes, I would too.
Full point PPR. Christian Kirk, Brandon Cooks, Josh Jacobs. Go Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
Sony Michel, Josh Gordon, Larry Fitzgerald, pick 2.
Sony
I'm not-
Michel and Larry Fitz for me.
I'm not playing Michelle.
I'll play Michelle and Fitz, yeah. Curtis Samuel, Josh Gordon, David Montgomery, Matt Breda, pick 2. Breda and Gordon.
Yep.
Yes.
Pick 1. Josh Jacobs, Sony Michel, or Aaron Jones? Probably Aaron Jones.
Jones, for sure. I think it's actually quite
I
definitive.
think it's close with him and Jacobs, but I'll take Jones.
Woods, Kirk, or Aguilar? I'll go Wood. Nah, I'll go Kirk.
Woods.
I'll go Woods. Kirk's next, though.
Miles Sanders or Darwin Thompson?
Darwin.
I'll take Darwin.
Yeah.
John Brown or DK Metcalf? John Brown.
Metcalf.
Can I make that bet against you?
Do you feel like losing?
Yes, I do. I'll bet you. Let's call it a quick $50.
What are we betting?
That
Fantasy points.
fantasy points. DraftKings points this week. John Brown outscores DraftKings Metcalf.
Sure, I could use another one of them. 1-0 in these bets with you this year on the show, so let's take it 2-0.
He is.
Which one was that?
It was Sam versus
Arnold
Baker.
versus Mayfield
right.
week
Yeah,
1.
yeah, yeah.
Josh Allen or Kyler Murray? Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Philip Dorsett or Chris Thompson? Chris Thompson.
Chris Thompson.
Agreed.
Pick 1. Gore, Larry Fitzgerald, or Matt Breda? Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitz.
Gore.
Pick 2. Robert Woods, Tyler Boyd, Christian Kirk, Garion Johnson, or Darwin Thompson?
God.
You don't need to answer. There's more than 4 people.
Josh Gordon.
Yeah. No, Josh Gordon was.
Oh, sorry. Who were the first two?
Woods, Boyd,
Sorry.
Kirk, Garion, Darwin.
I think I'm taking
Boyd and Kirk.
Woods and Kirk.
Boyd and Kirk for me. Marlon Mack or Garion Johnson?
Mac.
I'll go Mack. Ugh. Hilton or Cup? Do we have any word on T.Y. Hilton yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
If he plays, I play him.
I agree.
Yeah.
So Hilton, start 3 of these. So sit 1. Gordon, Kirk, MVS, or Hilton? It's MVS.
Sit MVS,
That's
yeah.
not even
Yeah, you're right.
Vance McDonald or Waller?
Waller.
McDonald.
Edelman or Tyrell Williams in non-PPR?
Still Edelman for me.
Still Edelman
Edelman.
for me. Dorsett or Sanders?
Dorsett.
I'd play Dorsett over Miles Sanders for sure.
Agreed.
Josh Allen or Russell Wilson? Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Yep.
Some guy kept asking the same question. He's banned for life. James Washington. Oh my God, this guy's just making comments. You're also banned for life. Fuck off.
What are you gonna do?
Carlos Hyde or Carryon Johnson?
Carry on.
Carry on.
Yep.
Waller or Andrews? If Andrews is a go, it's Andrews.
Yep.
Pollard or Samuel? I guess that's Curtis Samuel because there's no S. Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, Samuel.
Yeah.
Marlon Mack or Carryon Johnson? Marlon Mack.
Mac.
Flex, Aguilar, Hardman, or Mostert?
Aguilar.
I'm gonna flex Mostert.
I'll go Aguilar. Non-PPR, pick 1. Shady, Mixon, or Cooks? Cooks.
Cooks.
Mixon.
Superflex, Breda, Peyton Barber. This is a weird one. I don't know why Superflex needed to be mentioned because there's no quarterbacks.
I was waiting for the
Yeah,
quarterback.
Breda, Peyton Barber, Vance McDonald, or Marvin Jones?
Breda.
Vance
Hey,
McDonald.
Marv.
Really?
Yeah, you're playing Marvin Jones of all those?
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a good week.
All right. 2-minute warning here. Only 95 likes for this. If we had gotten over like 150 likes, I would have gone an extra 5 minutes. But yeah, people aren't even liking the episode anymore. So why do we need to be here? Rex Burkhead or David Montgomery?
Rex.
Burkhead. Darwin or Miles Sanders? Darwin.
Yep.
Yep.
Galladay, Cup, Hollywood, pick 2. I go Hollywood and Galladay.
Hollywood and Cup.
Take Galladay and Cup.
Okay. Eckler or Barkley? Barkley.
Yep.
Of course.
Ross, Burkhead, or Mostert? Burkhead.
The Colonel.
Burkhead.
Burkhead for me. Maybe this is the one to end it with. Ready for this, Tim?
Sure.
9 guys.
Does Darwin Thompson does good today? Does Darwin Thompson does good today? This person's asking.
Sure.
All right. Final 5?
Sure.
You ready?
Well, Tim's about to die, so we should run through these.
Josh Jacobs or Sony Michel?
Sony
Jacobs.
Michel.
Jacobs for me. Ertz or Kelsey? I'll go Kelsey.
Kelsey.
Kelsey, always.
Well, I mean, that's a DraftKings question. One
Okay,
of them is like $2,000.
No, that's fair enough.
In the same vein, Zeke or Dalvin? I like Dalvin for the price.
I like Dalvin a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper? Keenan Allen.
I agree.
Marvin Jones or Duke Johnson? Marvin Jones.
Marvin
I guess.
Jones, I guess. Yeah.
Need one for flex. TJ Yeldon, Jalen Samuels, or Jeff Wilson Jr. That's a rough spot.
Jalen.
Yeldon gets a little bit more involved than people are saying.
He'll be involved.
Only because Gore is so old. I mean, Yeldon should get a couple.
Can't take his job. He's too old.
So old.
I don't know.
I would just say Samuels, but I really don't like
I'm
any
going to
of
say
this.
Jeff Wilson because they're using him in the red zone. Maybe he can just walk in a touchdown.
Maybe.
All right, John Brown or David Montgomery?
John Brown.
John Brown for me. Randall Cobb or John Brown? John Brown. Why do people think John Brown sucks? I don't get it.
I guess
is
all of
him
last
scoring
season soured
scoring
them.
points like not good? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Last one: Tyrell Williams or DJ Moore?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a very good one. I'll go DJ Moore.
Yeah, I'll go DJ Moore.
I will take Williams.
All right. Would you play Robert Woods or Frank Gore? Because I play Frank Gore.
I would too.
I would play Frank Gore.
Yeah. Would you play Frank Gore or Carlos Hyde?
Oh, Frank Gore.
Frank Gore? That's close.
John Brown's gonna have a bad day.
Why you gotta hate on John Brown?
Well, he's already bet against him. This is great news. He bet me DJ Metcalf
I know.
versus John Brown. All right,
If you don't believe.
I'm going to update the rankings as soon as we get off the line here. So if you go to DK Playbook or check out the description of this video, you can find all of that, all of the previous shows, all of the cheat sheets. I want to thank Garion and Tim for being on the line. Give a smash on the way out to the like button. Oh, we got over 200 here. Well, we went an extra minute anyway. If you want to get your questions answered, just be in the chat around 10:25 a.m. Eastern time. And the rankings will actually answer a lot of these questions for you. So I want to thank you all for watching. I'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, live on the same channels that you're watching me on right now with Steve Buchanan, recapping the week and going over every injury, every snap count, and the waiver wire pickups of the week. Good luck in week 3. Someone go win $1 million in the Millionaire Maker, all right? I'll see you next time.